Take two. I'm sorry. The last location just was not conducive to Coffee with Cannon. Besides high winds and bright, I wasn't getting the reception. I hope that I am getting the reception here. This is take two. There's not going to be a take three. So you guys, I hope you're going to join me, and I apologize for the last location. Just try to, you try different things. You try to come up with a new location. You try to come up with some new stuff, and it did not work. So here we are. How's Mary? Good afternoon, Mary. Down the road I looked, and there was Mary, hair of gold and lips like cherries. It's good to touch the green, green grass of home. Sergeant George Ishag, you're back. Yes, Family Guy. Bad location last time. Hey, Haley, good to see you. Love the name Haley. Great name. Hi, everyone. Beautiful to be here this Friday, early afternoon, February 10th. My God, it's 80 degrees here in Florida. Just incredible. Mickey Mantle's back. Number 7 is back with us. Thank you, Mickey Mantle, for rejoining us here. It was a bad I thought the location was beautiful, but it wasn't conducive to this. K-Me, how are you? Good to see you. Oh, laugh out loud. I was named after Haley Mills. Wow, that's a great name. I love it. Haley's a great name. Where does it come from? What's the derivation of Haley? I don't know. Is it what ethnicity is Haley? Nikki Bella, good to see you. Lorraine Lawrence, loving the name. Family Guy, great cartoon. Thank you all you folks for coming back. I mean, again, I'm not going to beg off, but sometimes it's tough to pick the right location, and it has to have 3 different things. It has to have good Wi-Fi. It has to have not too much wind, and it has to have not too much brightness so I can see the chat. Linda, hello Linda, how are you? Good to see you. So guys, Kim Alliston, thank you Kim for coming back to this new location. And this new location is pretty good because it's got a little bit of an echo, which I like. Scott, you're missing the summer weather up here. I heard. I spoke to my wife, and she said it's like 55 or something like that in New York. Beautiful, but it's February 10th, and you know that weather can change on a dime in New York, and such a beautiful day. Only 25 here today. Jen Lowe. Where are you, Jen Lowe? Vicky Ruth Ann Griffin. Good to see you. Vicky O'Quinn. Family Guy, Sergeant George Ishag. Lorraine Lawrence, I like the new location. Good, I do too. It's beautiful. Kel, hello, Bill. All you guys, thanks for joining me again. So we were talking about before I had to go off the air, we were talking about some of the new information. Well, it's not actually brand new, but they're coming up with information that Bryan Kohberger was fired from his teaching assistant job, which if it directly interconnected with his funding for his PhD program, could that have caused the rage that made him commit those horrific, or be arrested for those horrific murders of the Idaho kids? It just, to think though that could, we all have things in our life that are negative. They even spoke about he was the victim of bullying and all of that stuff. Who in their lifetime has never been bullied? Is there a person on this earth that has never been bullied in their lifetime? But that doesn't turn you into a murderer, right? So, we talked again the other night. I raised it just before. Martha Miner, good to see you, Martha. Always good to see you. I was talking about the Dr. Joni Johnson the other night on Duty Rons, and I don't want to dig deep into that. Some people thought I disrespected her. I don't think I did, and she told me she didn't think I did. So that's the most important thing, is that she didn't think it was. I heard Burt Bacharach died. Yeah, I'll tell you, Burt Bacharach's greatest song, and I don't know if I think he did write it. Well, I'll sing you to sleep after the lovin' with a song I just wrote yesterday. And I don't know all the words, and I know that my song isn't saying anything new, 'cause after the lovin', I'll still be loving you. That was his great tune, his great hit, but he was a great songwriter, Burt Bacharach. How old was Burt? I guess he was up there in age. You know who's a gem also is Tom Jones. Tom Jones could still sing. And you know, Sergeant George Ishak, never heard of Burt Bacharach? Did you hear of that song I just sang, After the Lovin'? I'm pretty sure he wrote that, you know. 94. Burt Bacharach was 94. God bless him, man. That's, to live to 94 is incredible. I think it's incredible. You know, people will always say, oh, someone died the other day, they were 90, he was a young man, and you go, no, stop that. He's not young. No one's young when they're 90. You're old when you're, you know. Hi, happy Friday, everyone. Thank you for joining me. 94, Burt Bacharach. That's tremendous. A full life, absolutely. A full life, you know. And you want to hope that you're healthy to the end, that you can walk, you can do all the things that can keep you happy and keep you active, you know. Because if you lose your legs, I don't mean physically, just that you use the ability to walk. Sergeant George Ishak, happy early Super Bowl Sunday. All the hype is going on right now, right? Saw Tom Jones at Westbury Music Fair. The women went nuts. Yeah, he's one hell of a singer, man. And I guarantee he's up there in age. He's got to be in his 80s, and he still looks fantastic. You know, people that stay that healthy, they really, it doesn't happen just from genes. It happens because they work at it, you know. Except there's one person who I think he's alive because of his genes, because he's abused himself his entire life, and that's Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones. How that guy is still alive and healthy at the age, I guess he's got to be like 78, 79. Unbelievable, right? He still smokes cigarettes. He, at one time in his life, Dr. Joni didn't say I was out. You know, I'm not going to defend myself. Dr. Joni said she was cool with it, that she agreed with everything I said. So some of you folks that got upset with it, you're upset for your own reasons. She certainly wasn't. Char, good afternoon, Sergeant Bill. Hello, everyone in the chat. 46 in the chat. Maybe we can get some more people in the chat. I don't know, maybe because this is the second, almost the second show because of all, you know, the technical difficulties I had. But good to see everyone. Where's all the folks from across the pond? Where's my Great Britain people? Ireland, England. Where's the Australians? Where's the people from Wales? Jen Lo. Good to see you, Jen. Great to see you. Jen Lo. There's a lot of J Lo. Is there a J Lo out there? You know. So this is beautiful too, this location, isn't it? It's apparently you guys are getting a pretty good signal because I'm not having any complaints. So maybe I'll use this location again. Up on top over there's these other like little awnings, but they're right near the beach, so the wind picks up much higher. Where's the people from Japan? That's a much better question. I don't think I've gotten many people from Japan. Maybe once in a while we'll get someone from Japan. It's beautiful here. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't think you were out of line. Thank you, Kel. I appreciate that. Look, I don't, you know something, I think that when you're a content creator, when you believe in what you say, you have to say it. And whether people are going to like it or not, as long as you're respectful. I thought I was respectful. Some people maybe said I wasn't, but I think I was. I just felt what was I said and felt what was on my mind, and I said it, you know. So that's just the way it is, you know. And there's certain things that I believe, like in law enforcement, that are good things. Like, for example, look, I have no problem with how was the retired Nassau County law enforcement? It was actually for New York City cops, NYPD. It was fantastic. I was talking about it before, and I met hundreds of people that I used to work with. I shouldn't say hundreds. I met a lot of people that I used to work with, and it was great. You know, NYPD is such a fraternity that there's that camaraderie, and even if you say didn't work with a person, you still have that common ground. You know, you have that commonality of having worked in the greatest police department in the world. In my case, for almost 27 years, and a lot of people that were there some of the guys had 40 years on the job. It was just an incredible thing. And one of the coolest things for me was when I walked in, they give you a name tag and they check that you're on the list. And I went to buy a hat and a shirt, you know. Thank you, Marlene. And the two guys behind the counter go, "You're that guy from Police Off the Cuff. You're Bill." And I go, "Yeah." They go, "We love your podcast." And I was like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." You don't know how that's so flattering to me. But that people actually, and that didn't stop. All throughout the racket, people were coming up to me and say, "Oh, you're the guy from that podcast. Oh, we love that. We love that pod." And I said, "Thank you so much." You know, it's flattering to me. You know, I'm not a celebrity or anything, but it makes you feel like one, you know? And especially when your peers say that they love a law enforcement podcast, it means a hell of a lot. It does to me. And I'm sure Duty Ron, when people come up to him that were on the job, former cops, or even other police departments, they say, "Oh, you got it right. You really, you know." And one guy came up to me and says, "I drove up from New York," he goes, "and I listened to your podcast the whole way." And I was like, "Wow, thank you so much." And he goes, "I love it. You guys are like the best." And so I don't want to keep patting myself on the back, but it just made me feel good, you know. NYPD force was mentioned on the show, Doc Martin. Cool, excellent, Sergeant Bill. You represent the best. Thank you, Genlo. So nice to hear that, and so nice to be among people that you know and you respect, and you have the same sort of sense of humor. A cop's sense of humor is a little bit different than a lot of people, and I really appreciated that. And it was seeing people. How many jobs can you go back 30 or 35 years and say, "Oh yeah, I knew that guy when," you know? And you're like, wow. Schmitty, hello, Sergeant Bill and Beachn buddies. This is Police Off the Cuff, real crime stories, coffee with Cannon, backyard beverage, bitchin' with Bill, whatever you guys want to call it. Australia, Robbie, good, welcome. Pablo Sakata, Pablo in the house. Love that name, Pablo, too. I used to work with a bartender named Pablo at Pete's Tavern back in the day in Gramercy Park, 18th and Irving. Pete's Tavern, one of the oldest original bars in New York City, and one of the bartenders there was Pablo. I like that name, Pablo, you know. Cool name. But yeah, so it was good. It was great. It was really a nice thing. And there were, you know, cops from different precincts, cops from all over. Robbie, thank you for the $1 Australian super chat. Much appreciated. Erica Olson and Police Off the Cuff is on the air. And again, guys, look, I'm thrilled to be here. Peter Calabro, good cop. Calabro, there was a Captain Calabro that I knew. Thomas Jordan, hello, buddy. Mary, hi from Boston. Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? It grows in Boston. While you yet still did you hear that BK has co-counsel Jay Weston locks into now? It's being reported by JL Wrong and Right that does undercover things. Well, you know, there's going to be a big. We did a whole episode of myself and I think it was Mike Geary, I believe it was, and we were talking about what are they doing, and it may even have been Phil too in the episode. What kind of work are they doing now on the case to build a defense for Bryan Kohberger? How many attorneys, how many investigators are out there? Are they doing what the police do, but in reverse? Are they doing... Thomas Jordan, Rhode Island, 63 and out. I used to say that when people say, "Oh, when are you going to retire?" I'm a 63 and out. And I didn't do that, but there's friends of mine. And one of my friends just passed. I think he has 40 years now on the NYPD. Can you imagine being at the same job for 40 years? And it's crazy because he won't leave because he could. Lou Lemoracco, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming by, man. I see all you folks in the green font. That means your YouTube channel members of Police Off the Cuff. Thank you so much for how you support this channel, how you support me, how you support our guests and our co-host and new co-host Michael Geary, who, man, he's really a hit with everybody, you know. And the channel's still growing, and I attribute that to you guys, our channel members, and it makes me feel so good. So thank you so much. So yeah, so get back to Bryan Kohberger. There's another big story about Captain Calabro was my CO on task force. He was into the Staten Island Homicide Squad at a suit that turned to double. I remember Captain Calabro. If it's the same guy, he had when I came on the job in 1985. He was a sergeant in the academy. Is that the same guy? I don't know if it is, but Thomas Jordan. Just my son. 40 years. Oh my God. 40 years on any job is like incredible, but 40 years on the NYPD, you deserve sainthood to be able to survive that long on a job that's that difficult, you know. So, yeah, it's 40 years. I can't even imagine that. And you know, when you do 40 years on the NYPD, while yet still today, good to see you. I had him 7-8, Scott. So is it the same Captain Calabro that was a sergeant in the police academy in 1985 when I came on the job? Was it Dennis Calabro? Tell me if it was Dennis Calabro. If it was Dennis Calabro, we're talking about the same guy. If it wasn't, then we're not talking about the same guy. It's funny as you see people coming by here walking their dogs. It's like just a beautiful, beautiful place here. Scott, I believe so. Foxy Dare, morning. Scott, yes, it was Dennis. Then it's the same guy. He was a hell of a nice guy. Really nice guy. God bless him. I hope he lives till he's 100. Collects that NYPD pension till he's 100. That's what people always wish for you. May you live long and bankrupt the city with your pension. Scott, yeah, great guy and great boss. He was, absolutely, absolutely. You know, I had my picture taken with a bunch of guys yesterday. Vinnie Coogan, who was my squad lieutenant when I was in the 2-4 squad when I first got the robbery unit. Vinnie Coogan was my boss. He was a lieutenant, great guy. And he wound up, Kim Alliston, thank you. Guys, I want to shout out to Kim Alliston too, who is one of my biggest supporters and a mod, and just, she doesn't stop praising police off the cuff. And I really, and not only does she praise it, but she prays for me too. And I appreciate that. Kim, thank you so much. I need more prayers. Everyone needs prayers, right? Anyone that says they don't need prayers, I don't think. Mary Mons, hey, how are you? Good to see you. So good to see all you guys. It's a beautiful day. Kel, Ruth Ann Griffin, Kim Allison, hi Foxy, wow, Coogan, and yeah, Vinnie Coogan. So yeah, he was there, and Vinnie Coogan just retired, and I think he did like 40 years or 41 years. I think he aged out. If you guys that aren't familiar with the NYPD, when you're 63, you're out. You have to get out. You have to retire. Robbie, thanks again for the two. Love you, Sergeant Bill. Found a stolen credit card. Well, don't be sending me super chats with a stolen credit card. Funny. I hope it's funny. Yeah, so Vinnie Coogan, he was there. Of course, Danny Nicholson, we went there together. He was a retired NYPD lieutenant. Great guy. Oh, and Joe Lisi. And you guys, Joe Lisi's a retired captain, but he's one of the most successful NYPD actors ever in the history of the NYPD. He's probably done over 100 movies and TV shows. And if you saw him, you'd say, oh, I've seen that guy on Law and Order. He was in The Sopranos. He was in Goodfellas. So he's not like he's like not a bit part guy, but he's a smaller part guy. He's not going to be a lead, or he has, I think he actually, on one show years ago, he played a captain on a police show. And Kai Cat, why do you have to retire at 63? That's the rules. NYPD, you age out at 63 and you're gone. That's the NYPD. That just happens to be the rules. And if that wasn't the rules, Brent Montgomery, hi Bill, you have a tan on top of your tan. Hey, well, that's my light Irish skin. Usually it turns red, then I get a tan, And but I've been trying to stay really healthy down here. I work out every single day. I went to the gym today, and I'm trying to do like at least 45 minutes to an hour of cardio, and I do that pretty much every day. And you would think that would really keep my weight down, but it's still. I think really to keep your weight down, you have to diet. Exercise helps, but you really have to diet. You have to be on a certain diet. And I pretty much hardly drink at all now. Maybe once a week, I'll have a glass or two of wine, but for the most part, my alcohol consumption, follow the grain in your own wood. I was wondering where you were. So good to see you, follow the grain in your own wood. Love that name. Maiden 86, hey Sarge, hope you're well. I'm doing good, Maiden 86. I love how you guys interact with each other. Scott, I bailed at 49. The writing was on the walls in a few other places. You're talking about age, 49 years old. Guys, 95 people in the chat. Sergeant Bill, my friend's son-in-law works for the NYPD. His Carlo Gambino's son-in-law. True story. You know, these days it's easier to get on the job with something like that in your background. Years ago, that might disqualify you. Although, if you ever followed the story we did, and we had Tommy Dades on in regards to the Mafia cops, Louis Ippolito and Stephen Caracappa. Louis Ippolito's, I believe his father was a made guy. And so how he got on the job, I have no idea. Because usually they'll disqualify you for something like that. But he got on the job, so obviously, you know, they let that go. Now, there's even more lax standards than when Louis Ippolito got on the job. And if you don't know the story of the Mafia cops, well, neither one of them are alive right now. Louis Ippolito and Stephen Caracappa both died basically doing life in prison. But they were able to retire from the NYPD, and then they moved to Las Vegas, and they were trying to get involved in other business opportunities, and I think they were getting involved in drugs, in selling drugs there. And they went away and they died in prison, both of them. And Tommy Dades and Michael Vecchione, they're both were involved in that case, and they were both trying to, there's a book out in regards to the Mafia cops, and they were trying to make that a movie, and it had been green lighted a couple of times, and then it fell through, and it's a great story. It really is a great story. And guys, this is Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. I'm your host, Bill Cannon. This is Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill, Beachn' with Bill. And I love how all you guys in the chat know each other and are friendly with each other and basically interact with each other while I'm talking. I think it's an amazing thing. Martha Miner, do you still drink coffee? It is healthy. Yeah, I do drink coffee. I have 1 or 2 cups in the morning, and that's it. I don't drink it at all. Maiden 86, I don't drink it at all during the day. I like my 2 cups to get me up in the morning. And then I think coffee, you know, is a double-edged sword. Some people say it's healthy. If you drink too much of it, too much of anything, it's no good for you, you know. Hit that like button and ring that bell. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories, go on our YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, give us a thumbs up. It's free to subscribe. It's totally free. Joshua, someone said Coffee Cuffs and Candid Cannon the other day. Cool name. I like it. Candid Cuff, it's a mouthful though. It's a lot to remember, Josh. Candid Cuffs and Coffee with Cannon. Wow. I like it. I like it. That's Josh, our engineer. Foxy Dare. Police Off the Cuff is good too. Sergeant, you know Louis Croce, retired. I know of him. I don't know him personally. I've heard his name mentioned numerous times, but I don't. I was a Manhattan North guy my entire career, so I worked out of Manhattan North, so I never, you know, when you're in a certain borough, a certain area. Robbie, again, the 99 Super Chat, thank you so much, appreciate it. You know, when you're a Manhattan guy, you know Manhattan guys for the most part, you know. Say that fast 3 times. I don't know if I can. Scott, thumbs up, guys. So, I may go on the air tonight and talk about the new information in the Bryan Kohberger case. And Coffee Cups and Candid Cannon. I can't say it once. Coffee Cups and Candid Cannon. That's a mouthful. That's a tough one to say, but whoever invented it, thank you. It's another good name. We'll have to vote on it at the end of the year. Should we call this Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill, Coffee Cuffs and Candid Cannon. so great, so great. Love it. Diane Billy, hit the thumbs up and ring that bell. Police off the cuff. So the channel is still growing, guys, slowly but surely. What do they say? Slow and steady wins the race, right? Don't they say that? Rich Borgia, good to see you, buddy. That would be me, Bill Lula Morocco. Oh, you invented that. Coffee Cuffs. Coffee Cuffs and oh, well, you got to say it again. I'm dyslexic. I'm forgetting it, you know. But crazy. Great name, Lou. Thank you so much. While yet still today, Beaching with Bill when you're in Florida. Good job the other night, Rich Borgia. Thank you. I thought the show with Duty Ron and Dr. Joni Johnson, I thought it was great. There were a couple people that didn't like it, but no, they didn't like me. They thought I was disrespectful, and I don't think I was. But I don't want to get into that. It's sort of negative. But I thought the show was great. I really do. You know, I come from like a police point of view, and I look at it from an investigative. Robbie, Sergeant Bill, do you support capital punishment? 100%, especially for a crime like the quadruple murders in Idaho. I think it is a deterrence, and I think that I've seen people, when they were told that they could get the death penalty, they turned white. And to me, that said it all about it being a deterrence. So there's many people that don't agree with it, that say, oh, it's not a deterrent. So they'll you know, do the stats to fit that narrative, you know. Folks, Coffee Cuffs and Candid Cannon. Thank you, Lula Morocco. Great one. I'm gonna have to write that down. Coffee Cuffs and Candid Cannon. I like it. Diane B, no Sergeant. Look, you know something? We all have opinions on certain things, and my opinion comes from, you know, look, I was a professor too. I taught for 10.5 years. I taught at the Nypd criminal investigation course. I think that's pretty good credentials, you know. Like I always hear people going, oh, I have 800 hours of training. Well, I was one of the trainers, all right? So, you know, that accounts for something too. I wouldn't have been one of the trainers unless I was respected of having that knowledge to be able to impart both my knowledge and what I had learned on the street. So that's, you know, I think that counts, right? Trump King 24, hi Bill and everyone, good to see you, buddy. 99 in the chat, 76 with the thumbs up. We got to keep busting into this 100. We're a little low today, maybe because this is the second show. And the first show had to be aborted because it was so windy and so, you know, bad reception with the Wi-Fi. But we're coming back. We're here. I won't tell you where I am, but except the town. I'm in Jupiter, Florida. And someone that was at the racket yesterday, if some don't like it, then don't listen. We all have our opinions. Well, you know, one of my favorite expressions is, you're a master of your own destiny. If you don't like it, you can go to listen to someone else that doesn't think like I think. Yeah, I taught CIC at the Academy on 20th Street in Gramercy Park. Now the Academy's in Queens. The building is like gigantic. It was like $1 billion building, right? And the lecture halls they have there, I mean, they're great. They're huge. I would have loved to have taught there, but you know, and I wasn't teaching full time. They would pull me in from the street to teach that course. Robbie, am I in witness protection? No, I'm not. Gone with the gal, tuned in where? Fuzzy Doxy. 100 in the chat, 83 with the thumbs up. We're getting people coming in and out. I guess you guys are busy today. It's Friday, right? It's Friday, you're getting ready for the weekend. That's cool. But, Kim, hi, Gone with the Gale. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to everybody, guys. Happy, you know, God bless everyone and have a great weekend coming up. Christina Logan, hello from Wales. Look, I'm getting my folks from across the pond. That's what I said earlier on. Where are my people from across the pond? Let's see, Stockport, Greater Manchester, Marilyn Minetta. We're going to be in Florida on the 16th, going to the Daytona 500. That should be exciting. Wow. You know, you hear the Daytona 500 for years and years, and then you go, oh, I'm in Daytona. That's where the Daytona 500 is, you know. It's like, what color is George Washington's white horse, you know? The Daytona 500. Yeah, naturally it's in Daytona, right? Haley, I'm here from UK in Kent, Sergeant Bill. Great, Daytona's so cool, but watch out. What's she got to watch out about in Daytona 500? Crystal K, loved you on Duty Run the other day. I'm glad some people love me on Duty Run. Ireland's in the house, Shadow Dancer. Cool. Christina Logan, hi, I'm a Scot. Hi, Foxy. Wow, Kokomo, Indiana. Across the Florida Keys, there's a place called Kokomo. That's where I want to go to get away from it all. Way down in Kokomo. Trump King 24, Foxy Dare. Someone said, Bill, Florida suits you. I think Florida would suit everyone. It's hard not to like, you know. Bill, please consider a video special on Werner Foster, a New Jersey officer. I'll look into it. You know, one of the things, guys, that maybe the 10 o'clock cannon with Cannon, time for another cup. One of the things that obviously we do in regards to choosing what to speak about, most of us choose, probably all of us that are successful, choose stories that are trending, stories that you folks out there are interested in, you know, because there could be hundreds of stories that I'm interested in, but if I do them on, if I broadcast them on YouTube, it won't get an audience because the audience is not interested in it. And another thing that maybe you guys don't realize is that if we do certain things, Heather, whatever, thank you for the $4.99 super chat, very much appreciated. If we do certain stories and you say certain words, YouTube will demonetize your show and won't put any ads on your show. So there's definitely a form of censorship is definitely out there. So we have to be cognizant of that in regards to what we talk about and in regards to the stories that we cover. And unfortunately, that's the way it is. And we can't just do any type of story. And you can't show any type of pictures, anything like that. I understand that, but certain things, even if you say, they'll demonetize your show, or they'll basically hold it back from getting likes. And if your show is exactly what YouTube likes, it gets a lot of thumbs up, it gets shared a lot, then YouTube will push it out there. And they'll keep pushing it out there. And that's how you see shows that'll get 50 or 60,000 views. That's because YouTube also pushes it out there. I mean, Duty Run regularly gets, 60, 70,000 views when he hits the jackpot sometimes. Haley, thank you for the £5 super chat. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Haley. I really appreciate that. 115 in the chat, 90 with the thumbs up, guys. This is Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill. Thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you for all your support, you guys. We had talked about it last week, actually almost like 4 or 5 days ago, I think, maybe even. It was like Police Off the Cuff hit 45,000 subscribers. And that might not sound like a lot to some of you guys, but I worked hard to get there. It's taken me about 3 years, 2.5, 3 years to reach that milestone. So it's not like an automatic thing that you guys, I think I may have had a miniature meltdown for a second. We're back though, we're back. Thank you, everyone. Stay with Haley, totally agree. Guys, so, I feel blessed to have come this far in being a YouTube content creator and Police Off the Cuff. Josh, you're saved by the bell. Somehow, Josh, you gotta keep your hands off the screen. Sometimes you can just, oh my God, you do the littlest thing and you're like, mini meltdown. Yes, Princess Mitch, good to see you. Almost had now I don't totally panic. Back in the day, I would have been like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Josh, refresh, it's not loading. Can you guys hear me still, Josh? Everyone out there still seeing the show? I hope so. Still cool as though, okay, cool. Buffering here, you on maybe the show's, Kim Allison, thank you. It's still loud and clear, Scott. Buffering here, yes sir, we're back, we're back. Uh, buffering, we can hear you, good guys. Buffering, we can hear and see you fine. Excellent, Diane B, thank you. Josh, it's fixed, thank you Josh. I'm glad you're here to tell me that. You give me a little inspiration. Shadow Dancer, Martha Miner, Robbie, yep, thought it was my phone. No, you know something, when you think about it, here we are on this little phone, and I'm communicating with people all over the world. It's incredible. Could we have ever imagined that when we were kids? When you were 10 years old, 15 years old, 20 years old? Could you have imagined that you would be able to go on a phone and communicate, send an image across the world? Just incredible, you know? It's an unbelievable thing, but it happens, right? No, and I'm still not sure it's for the best. Made in 86. Bill, please consider Wendy Murphy as a guest speaker. Lou, send me this stuff in an email, please, off the cuff, the number 1 at gmail.com. All right, because when it goes through the chat, sometimes it's tough for me to go back and look for it. Send me an email about that. And, you know, I tried to get CC Moore, and she's the expert, the DNA expert. She's solved, like, using genetic genealogical DNA, she's solved tons of cases. And I got her email, and she wouldn't even respond back to me, because I guess I'm not big enough for her to go on the show. Like, she wants to go on regular TV shows, but if you're a podcast, she didn't really want to hear about it, you know. So it's tough being a little guy in this business, you know. But so yeah, and you know, when you get, people always recommend guests to me all the time, but sometimes people want me to feature people that are like trying to sell something. And as I explained before, our whole methodology is to do a national story with a good guest. Made in 86, what they're doing with DNA technology is it's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. What a crime-fighting tool it is, right? It's just incredible, and they're getting better and better and better at it. And you don't want to hear something amazing? If you've ever watched Barbara Butcher, who's been on Duty Ron's show, she's been on my show a bunch of times, and she has a book coming out soon. According to Barbara Butcher, DNA technology advanced 3 generations because of 9/11. That's incredible, isn't it? Guys, Robbie, get me 100 likes. That's right, I'm at 97. 3 more. It shouldn't be tough to get 3 more. We crossed 102 in the chat, but now it's starting to go down. You got people leaving. Come on back in. We all love you. Rachie from England. Thank you, Rachie. Hit that like button. Dawn Marie, good to see you. Heather, whatever. Sadly true. So yeah, I got 100 thumbs up. Yeah, unfortunately it took that to do it. Yeah, 3 generations of DNA technology advancement because of 9/11. So all of this, the advancements you're seeing now, thank those people that gave their lives or lost their lives on 9/11. Thank all the first responders that are sick. A lot of them are really sick. Dawn Marie, thank you, Dawn Marie. Thank you for everything you do for me, Dawn Marie. Really appreciate it. Kim Alliston, Dawn Marie. Dawn Marie is the best. Kim Allison, Dawn Marie. Where's Angie Yang? I didn't see Angie today. Angie's losing love for me. She's working too hard for Joe Murray, you know. Schmitty, I thank you too, Schmitty. I thank you for being who you are and helping us out. And thank you, Dawn Marie. You know, it's funny, Dawn Marie. That's what cops call you on the NYPD. They call you boss. You know, if you're above the rank of sergeant, you're a boss. You know, and I don't know any other job that does that. Hey, boss. You know, and you're like, it's sort of humbling to hear it, but it's pretty cool. You know. So yeah, definitely. Kokomo, Indiana, good to see you. All you guys, as I said, I love. Oh, you know what I didn't see today? Lieutenant Pete and Richella. What happened to Lieutenant Pete and Richella today? Someone just said it right after me. Breaking news, one of the Murphy, the dog's boyfriends, want to talk. Sure, we'll see the interview on Banfield. Who wants to talk? I thought that there was a gag order. Someone's going on Banfield and talking about the dog Murphy? Is that what you was? Repeat what you said. Christina Logan, in my force we called our sergeant Skipper. That's pretty cool too, you know. The NYPD, it's traditional. You're above the rank of sergeant, they call you boss, you know, or sarge, or Lou for lieutenant, captain, you know, but you're boss, you know, and they treat you with respect. The media is really pushing the line on that gag order. Heather, whatever, that's crazy. It's 59 degrees on Long Island, so it's probably out on the beach. 59 degrees, isn't that incredible? February 10th. Incredible. But guys, this is Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Beachn with Bill. Beachn with Bill. I want to thank everyone for joining me today. Big boss man, Elvis. Have a blue Christmas without you. I feel so blue just thinking about you. Josh, see you later, Josh. Josh said, see you later, boss. Josh is our engineer. Great guy, Josh. It's a joke pointing out that Christina Logan, I love you. Thank you so much. Did anyone see the singer from Guns N' Roses sang at Axl Rose sang at Lisa Marie Presley's funeral? And Haley, thank you, Haley. Super Bowl Sunday, everyone go. Who's everyone rooting for? I know we got a huge amount of Philadelphia Eagles fans. I don't know if in the chat right now, but in that like the show, we got a lot of Philly. I love Patrick Mahomes, so I'm probably going to be rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think Patrick Mahomes is just incredible. Wow. A jet is flying by. You hear that? Wow. That thing really screamed across the sky there. Wow. Chiefs. Who's playing? Well, Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. And Patrick Mahomes is probably one of the greatest quarterbacks, you know, that I've ever seen play this game. Just unbelievable. Joe Colecco into the Hall of Fame. Love Joe Colecco. He was probably the toughest middle guard that ever played the game. That guy was a beast. Joe Colecco, man. Shame he had a lot of knee injuries near the end of his career. He probably played a little longer than he should have, but he played with, of course, Mark Gastineau. It was when Joe Colecco played, the Jets defensive line was called the New York Sack Exchange, because I think they set a sack record as a force of 4, and it was Joe Colecco, Marty Lyons, Abdul Salam, and Mark Gastineau, and that was the Jets' New York Sack Exchange. Marty Lyons and Abdul Salam. Marty Lyons was a tough dude too. Marty Lyons now, I think he has some kind of concussion syndrome too, because he was a broadcaster. You don't see him too much anymore, but he was a tough dude too, man. Yeah, he was Marty Lyons, really a tough dude. Heather, whatever. Wow. Yeah, they were great. I was a Jet fan since I was like 12 years old, and my idol as a kid was Joe Namath, and I just thought he was just the coolest Broadway Joe. That's what he was called, Broadway Joe Namath, and that's when the Jets were, they were on the map. They were really good back then, and if the Jets ever get back to the Super Bowl again, I think people will go crazy. You know, it's been so long, but. Guys, 44 minutes, tough dudes. How about the Steel Curtain? They were fantastic too. Remember the linebacker on the Steelers, Jack Lambert, the guy with no front teeth? And he was undersized. He was only about 225 pounds. Back then, I guess a linebacker could be that size. These days, Brenda Cantafio, how are you? Thank you for saying hello. I heard about the new lawsuit against Alec Baldwin. The family of Helena Hutchins, not her husband and the son, her extended family, I think her mother and her sister or whatever, they're filing a lawsuit against Alec Baldwin also. And we haven't heard the last of that case, and that's for sure. Guys, I'm going to say cut the show just a few minutes short because I did like 10 minutes before we had the meltdown there. Schmitty, I grew up in St. Louis, and Phantom jets used to break the sound barrier until a stop was put to it. Yeah, that jet was really screamed across the sky. So guys, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for coming back and tuning in again. This is Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill, Beachn with Bill, and of course the new one. I can't remember it again. I'm going senile. But everyone have a wonderful day. God bless.